Hi guys, Tracy here with another scrapbooking process video. This is a layout that I did this morning using the Citrus Twist March kit and the Studio Calico April kit. So first I cut a title using some of the orange cardstock from the Citrus Twist kit. I can't remember the font I used for that. I had a difficult time. I used my Cameo. I had a difficult time with the B because the words would weld together, the letters would weld together, but the B was not staying one shape. It was like separating into two shapes. But anyways, I just cut it up as two shapes and I'll put it together when it's on the layout. So right now, these are Instagrams of all three of my pets, but they were all Instagrammed at different times, so they had different filters. They look kind of similar, but they had different frames. So I just took a marker, a black marker, and went around the edges of each of them so that they all now have a black frame. They used to have one black, one white, and one with no frame. So these two papers both came in the Citrus Twist kit. This one is a Studio Calico paper from the Darling Deer collection, and I love that speech bubble pattern, so I really wanted to use that. And then this is a KI Memories paper, and it has a bunch of squares on the backs of it. And I kind of didn't plan this, but once I had the squares cut, I realized I had three of them, so I could sort of use them as mats. And that background paper is by Bo Bunny. It's one of those dots. What's it called? Double dot, and the color is called Ocean. And so I'm just filling out my ingredient list form, which is just something that I use in case I forget what I used on my layout. I use it mostly for narrating my videos, but then I also will sometimes use it if I submit something for publication in a magazine or something. So I'm going to sew blah. Sorry guys, my tongue is getting twisted. I'm going to sew a border onto each of these little squares from the KI Memories paper, and I changed my thread from gold, which is my standard these days, to an orange thread. And orange on the orange paper isn't going to stand out that much, but I just wanted to use orange in other parts of this layout, so I thought I would stick with one color of thread. So, and what I do to turn the corner is I sew into the corner and leave the needle in the thread, and then I just lift up the foot and twist the paper so that you can kind of get a sharp corner when you're sewing. You guys all probably know that, but I had to learn it because I'm not good at sewing, so I learned it from experience. So yes, now I'm just looking at some more of the papers in the Citrus Twist kit, and then I decided to pull out my Studio Calico kit and have a look at that. I had some black letter stickers, but they're all crazy. They're cut wrong, so I can't use them. And then I pulled out those basic gray frames. They're like an acetate, and they're really cool. They look like old-fashioned film frames and that sort of thing. Also, the Studio Calico kit came with a whole bunch of speech bubbles, but I decided not to use them on this layout. I kind of tried them out there. You saw me trying them. And so now I'm just looking at some of the the pattern paper from the Studio Calico kit. The kit is called Spencer's, and I don't have any add-ons because I got the Citrus Twist kit instead of an add-on. Different companies, but yeah, I only had so much money, so I had only so much money in the budget for scrapbooking. So this is a piece of Tim and Beck paper, and I wanted to cut a strip of arrows that included some of the blues and oranges that are in the rest of the layout. So I made two strips, but then I decided the bottom one was a little bit too busy. So I cut that other paper. It's an alphabet paper by Studio Calico called Big News. And now I'm going to cut another strip of that to put on the top here. I'm going to use my notebook border punch. This is an EK Success border punch, and it just punches like the edges of a notebook. So then I'm going to tuck that. I'm just going to distress it a little bit with my fingers, and then I'm going to tuck it in underneath of that speech bubble paper. Not sure what I'm doing right now. I'm off screen, and now I'm going to glue these things down, and I am using minimal adhesive because I'm going to sew with that orange thread again. So I'm just fixing that up, and then I'm using temporary adhesive to put the arrows on the top because I still haven't decided if I'm going to keep those arrows there. What I like about them is that they bring some orange up to the top of the layout, but I wasn't sure if it was a little bit too busy and heavy for the top. So I'm just running a straight stitch down the top and the bottom of that speech bubble paper from Studio Calico, the Darling Dear collection. And then I am just gonna put the 3 squares and the 3 photos. I'm gonna layer them the best I can. And now right here, I'm kind of trying to decide where that frame is going to go. I'm going to use the frame for journaling, and I'm going to put some paper behind it. At this point, I haven't decided what exactly I'm going to do. I'm having a look at the stamps that came in the Citrus Twist kit. I got 2 sets of stamps because they send you like a welcome set. And then those 3 little flowers that I'm now putting Studio Calico gems on. The gems came in the Citrus Twist kit. Those 3 flowers came in the Citrus Twist kit. They are, I guess every month you get something that they call handmade vintage, which is made by them. So now I'm just piecing together that title, having a look at it. And these frames have like a, what am I trying to call it? It's like a piece of acetate cling that's stuck to them, and I think it's protective so that the items don't get scratched up. I actually like the look of these embellishments with that cling paper still on it because I know that if I peel the cling paper off of it, it's going to be very, very shiny, and I like the matte look of it, so I'm actually not going to peel those off. And right here I'm just playing around with where I'm going to put some of those frames, and now I'm finally committing to the placement of these 3 squares of pattern paper, and then I'm going to glue down each of the photos. And putting that frame back in place, going to put those flowers back in place just so I can have a sense of what I want to do with the title. So I'm going to put the title on using my Zig glue pen, and that allows me, what I did was I just put glue on it in a few little places, and that allows me to pop the title up a little bit so that you see some dimension and some of the shadow from where the words stick up off the page a little bit. And I'm going to place the word fur so that I have room for the frame there. So I had to kind of figure out where it was going to be so that the R didn't go too far past the word babies. So I just used the same glue for putting down the word fur. I thought about using an enamel dot there for the dot on the eye, but it drew too much attention to itself, so I just went with the eye that came with the die cut. And now I'm just kind of experimenting with different frames that I might want to put in the top. So basically I have a triangle of frames. I have this frame over here that I'm working on right now. I just used some dot adhesive to stick that to the paper bag, and I'm just going to trim it down. And I thought about, because now I have 2 layers of that, I thought about cutting off one of the layers, but then it makes it less see-through if I leave both layers on, so I'm just going to leave them. I'm doing journaling about each pet in these squares, just saying the pet's name, the age, and then a little characteristic of that pet. And now I'm playing around with where I'm going to put this, and I've decided to put it like this so that it's not touching. I just wrote myself a note there so I could remember to narrate that because the other elements are not touching the edges of that speech bubble paper, and so it would put it all off balance if I had that frame down too low so that it was hanging over the edge of the speech bubble paper. So I just wanted to leave it so it wasn't touching. I put my flowers back on at this point, and I stapled down my frames, And now I'm just putting 3 little gems from Studio Calico in various places. And now I'm going to put 1 sticker under each of the little flowers that I have as embellishments. So one is a triangle, and these are basic gray stickers that came in the Studio Calico kit. These 2 kits really match well together. They both have a lot of blues and oranges in them. And this is from my stash. It's a set of my Mind's Eye letter or word stickers, and it was from another Studio Calico kit from another month. So I just picked out a word that described each of the pets, so that each little cluster there, so I've got another triangle, and each corner of that triangle consists of a flower, a sticker, and a word sticker. Now, I wanted to use this stamp that came in the Citrus Twist kit. It says best day ever, but I'm going to cross out day and handwrite in the word pet. And so I experimented with stamping that on a piece of the paper bag, but it was not the letters, the words in the stamp were not coming out clearly, so I stamped it on a piece of white paper. It's actually a piece of Becky Higgins grid card, a blank grid card. I'm not sure what I'm doing here because I forgot to zoom out again, but here I am zoomed out. I grabbed some of these wood veneer circle frames from Studio Calico. These are another one of my favorite things that became my favorites a little bit too late. They're hard to find now. And so I can't buy any more. It seems like I can't buy any more anyways. Maybe I'll find them. But I use these a lot. I really, really love them. They make a nice layer for underneath your main layers. So anyways, I put one of each of those in that triangle that I was talking about that has the 3 flowers. And then I also put little tiny bits of the triangles in those 2 places that you see me working on right now, just to bring a little bit more embellishment up in the top. So I've got a tiny embellishment by the title, and then another tiny embellishment up at the top where it says best pets ever. And now this is what I'm deciding to do to fix the top, is I'm putting a piece of that blue number paper, which kind of calms down, I think, the Tim and Beck paper, which was a little heavy for the top, but once I layered a piece of the number paper over it, it just, well, I don't know, it just kind of ties it in a little bit better because that's the only place that paper is on the layout. So there's that stamp and that little cluster, and there's my journaling and the other clusters. So if you guys have any questions about this layout, just let me know. I'm about to make a little tiny addition to this one. There were only 2 of the large enamel dots, or not enamel dots, those Studio Calico gems. So that's why 2 of the flowers have green gems and 1 has a gray gem. I just made sure that the gray one that's different was in the middle. And now I'm just grabbing my roller date stamp, and I left this the same speed so that you guys could have a sense of how slow I scrap. Yeah, this is my regular speed. A lot of people say, hey, how long did that one take you? Most of my layouts take about 2 hours. This one took a little under 2 hours for this one. But most of them take 2 hours. Sometimes when I do a super quick one that doesn't have very many layers or embellishments on it, it might take an hour and a half, but that would be the very, very, very quickest that I can ever do a layout. So there I'm just showing you how I've only inked the part that has the month and the date. I didn't ink the number, and that's because I really only have room here for the month and the date, and I didn't want an inky mess under where the flower was going to go. So I often just, instead of cleaning my stamps, I'll just stamp it out on a piece of paper so I don't have to bother cleaning. And that's what that looks like. I think it just kind of finishes off that little tag or tab sticker by Basic Gray a little bit. So that's the layout. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. Take care.